right, cool. So we're at Hi-Rez Expo 2018. We're with Rory, and you're the producer of this game? No
Executive
titles,
producer,
right.
designer, guy.
Cool. And so you guys just announced this at the keynote yesterday. So what's Bot Smashers all about? Can you walk us through it?
Sure. So Bot Smashers is a mobile-first 1v1 base building strategy game. We're really heavily inspired by the RTS genre on PC. You know, it had obviously a really big run in early 2000s with Red Alert, StarCraft, Warcraft, Command and Conquer, like old series, Age of Empires, right?
Yeah.
And we wanted to kind of capture that experience, but in a short enough match to be played on the phone.
Okay.
And so we went through a lot of iterations trying to figure out what are the most exciting portions of the RTS experience that are fun, right? So you have researching, upgrading, expanding, building an army, and then kind of getting a composition that works against your enemy. And so we boiled it down to the basics of that doesn't really have the extra fringe, right?
Okay.
So we can hop in a quick match here, just go through this, and then we'll go through the building process. So it's just a preset build to get an example of it. Play against the bot.
So this is going to be like a free-to-play collection game, more or less, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And so this will jump in, you'll have your base on the left, and the enemy base on the right. This is a bot here. This big building in the middle is your command center. If you lose that, you lose the game. And you have the energy count on top of it. And you'll see underneath each one of these, if they have a number, it means that's how much it costs to spend it. So I can spawn this unit by spending 4, which took away the energy, and I'll send it out. And they're ground units, air units, AoE units, single target units.
So now, would you have this base loadout always, or is this like your deck effectively?
This is a build that you have saved and selected for the match before you start.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a loadout, a deck, build, whatever you want to call it. And so I'll be countering the units he's sending out. So he just got my first structure down, so he gets 1 point. And then when the time is up, whoever has the most amount of points wins, or it goes to overtime if it's tied. So I can cast a spell and take out this swarm here. And so we're about to hit our first point upgrade. So this is kind of getting the RTS genre back into the game. So I'll be able to choose any one of my structures and permanently upgrade it for the game. So like these clamps up here, see how they came out in kind of a small swarm? If I upgrade them, it'll double their count. So they used to spawn with 8, they'll spawn with 16 now.
Okay.
And so if I feel like they have a pretty weak build to AoE, which he actually does, this will be really strong against his big tanky unit because he just won't be able to stop it. And so you can see, like in RTS, if you see that they're going a certain build or they're weak to something, you can just adjust your build accordingly by scouting or revealing and kind of getting the right build for it. That's exactly what we're looking for here.
Okay. So if you were experienced with the game, you would know like what all the enemy structures are and stuff like that.
That's
and
right.
how to like build around it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, normally you go through a tutorial experience and unlock these units one by one, and you'd actually start with a smaller base and then progressively get bigger and bigger bases.
Okay.
We actually have it going up to 10 right now, but for the demo, we're only doing 7 because it's just easier to see the units that are on screen. And then at 2 minutes, we'll get our second upgrade, which is the last upgrade for the game, and you can try to choose which one you want. I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade my back sniper guy to make him do more damage and take this big tanky guy out faster.
So what? How are you? Oh, so there's timers on all these, and that's how it controls like when you can summon more guys.
Yeah, that way you don't have you don't get the same unit over and over. You have to wait for a cooldown to go down.
What are you shooting for in terms of like match length?
About 3 to 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So it ends pretty quickly. And so you don't know what the enemy's build's going to be going into it, so you have to kind of build some flexibility into it.
Okay.
And one of the cool things about this, which is different from why this is more RTS and less battle arena game, is once you lose the structure, you can't spawn that unit anymore. So there actually are ways to break open builds that the enemy has. So for example, if I saw that they had, I have big tanky units and he has this gunner, this sniper guy here, and that's the only thing he has to take out my tanky guys, I can focus all my energy on destroying that structure, and I take that unit out of the game.
Then he's kind of screwed.
Right, and so he has to be able to protect it and move further back into his build and react that way. We just hit a power surge, which doubles the tick rate on this and then lowers all of the cooldowns.
So when you're building this, like, could you like position this guy like way back here so he's the most protected, or is that pretty much random?
So you get right now you get random layouts, but you would pick one if you felt that like if this gunner is really important to my build, I want to put him further back so it's harder to get to, so he doesn't die first, right? Now obviously it's faster for them to come out because they're up front. So there's a lot of different choices built in here. And that's kind of what we were looking for, is a lot of flexibility and choice, having that freedom that strategy games allow you, so you can build your own strategy, you can build your own play style and implement it. It's not just as cookie cutter as you have to play this way, right? There's a lot of different things that can happen, and within the game itself, it evolves much like an RTS would, because you get reactions with the base building and structures going down and upgrades coming up, which kind of changes the dynamic of the game as you're playing. So you can see how like once I actually lost in the beginning, but upgrading these countered his build pretty nicely, right? So like my gunner takes out his tanky guy really fast, and he has nothing to stop my swarm, so they just chew through everything. And so I ended up came back at the end because I made the right choice in upgrades.
Yeah.
And I'm a big stats guy. I'm a designer in my heart, so I like having ways to measure how well you did. And so we added this score screen in here, which is like an MVP. So my gunner was obviously contributed the most for me. This shows you like which of the ones did the most damage. So my brawl bot actually didn't do a whole lot for me. And I like this because a lot of times, especially when you're trying to change your builds and get your builds better over time, sometimes I may have thought Brawlbot was doing a lot for me, right? And so I keep upgrading him and thinking he's really great, but seeing these stats on screen, it's like, well, actually, Gunner was really valuable, so I should try investing into him.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So let's see the build phase. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you'll just get random layouts, and it is forced by where you can put things. So it's not you click on it and you get all the units in the game. So yellow is turrets, so turrets have to go in the yellow slots. Pick from those. Green is the ground units, so everything that walks on the ground. There's actually quite a lot of them in this demo right now.
So would you, like, if you were playing this as a player when it's finally released, is the idea that you would like open like packs to get those units, or would you have all of them, or how would that work?
We're still deciding on it. I think our current plan right now is to have the units be more gated by progress. You wouldn't have to like randomly get them in a chest. You would just get to a stage, kind of like, well, inspired by like Mega Man, those kind of things. We want to have like stages that you unlock and walk through, and you just get the units there. But there would be a process for upgrading them, and so you choose which ones you want to upgrade. And you collect, robot parts and install them and make them stronger that way. Cool. And red is all your spells. So it's actually a black hole. It sucks everything in, which is a really great combo with the other spells. So in this layout, I only have one spell slot. But if I had a layout that had two, I could combo black hole with like a big explosion, right? Suck everything in and blow them all up at once.
Okay.
So there's a lot of flexibility. Like you could run one turret or no turret, and then if you're confident how you can use your units and your spells, you can kind of counteract that no defensive strategy with other strategies, which I'm always a big fan of. And when I worked on Paladins, the same thing. I wanted to have a lot of flexibility in your choices, so you're not forced into a cookie cutter.
Right.
And so you mentioned Mega Man a minute ago. What was the you're going for an all-new IP with totally new characters and stuff like that, and you're going with like the robot theme, as opposed to like leveraging something that you already have, in Paladins or Smite or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Why did you guys decide to do this, and not make this like Smite
just for fun?
Like God
partially for fun.
Because it's got to be awesome.
It is fun.
Creating the little robots.
It is, and I think what's interesting is we didn't. This is a different engine than we use Unreal for most of our games. This is on Unity, but we also had an opportunity to kind of move into the mobile space, and we didn't gain too much by taking what we had built for Smite or Paladins into this. And so we thought, well, we could either try to port it or we just make something new. And we had a pretty specific vision in mind that we wanted to kind of capture what it's like to be a kid and collect toys and Pogs and Pokemon cards and bugs and stuff like that, and just have that collection built, but also feel like each unit could be really easily understood of what they do. Like the T-Rex to T-Rex, he's got a giant mouth. Like no one doesn't know what he just goes and bites people. It's simple, it's easy, right? You kind of get it, and it feels fun and exciting to see what they do. And we can really communicate personality with them through their eyes and how they move without having too much complexity. So we want it to be easily relatable and understandable and just kind of fun and makes you smile.
Yeah, cool, I like it.
Awesome.
And then do you have greater aspirations for doing some of the competitive stuff like you do with the other games, having guilds in the game or things like that where you might have tournaments and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, our philosophy at Hi-Rez is really just allow it to be competitive, and then release the game, make sure it's fun, and then let the community tell us like, hey, we really want to compete, right? And once we have that, because as much as you want to make a game competitive, you really need the player base to do it. And so once they're like, hey, we're running tournaments, we want this to be competitive, we have all the tools we need from other games to support that and easily turn that on a dime, right?
Cool deal. Well, is there anything else that this demo does, or is that kind of where you guys are at right now with the pre-alpha?
This is it for the pre-alpha. You can play against bots or play against each other, and you just build and kind of play with that. And you guys are welcome to play against each other if you want to try out a build and see how it goes.
And what about time frame for release? Any idea?
We don't have a release date yet. We're doing signups now for early testing, and we'll be beginning our early testing before spring. And then from there, we'll just be kind of keeping updates as we go along.
Awesome. Cool, dude. Well, thanks for showing us all this.
Yeah, of course.